Hello, I am live yet again, and we're going to be looking at a new channel that I don't believe I've shown before. If I have, yeah, ADHD happened. Big deal. I make mistakes. Deal with it. Deal with it, you know? Just deal with it. Deal with it. Okay.
It's late at night when a girl named Pershka records a video in her kitchen. The purpose of the video is to show an ice machine that she recently purchased, as there's something about it that creeps her out. The ice maker, according to her, makes a very strange noise during the late hours of the night. So one night, as the ice machine makes its unusual noise, Pershka heads over to the kitchen to record the sound. But as she records this video, something pretty creepy is caught on camera. What was supposed to be a short, random video turned out to be a terrifying clip that Pershka has recently taken down for unknown reasons. She didn't say why she took down the clip, but it seems that the video itself says it all. Have a look.
She took it down, but somebody else uploaded it. Oh. Looks like about a child about from
Like a scene out of a horror movie, Pershka
old.
walks into the kitchen and captures for just a split second the figure of a little
like
girl.
5 to 6
Even
year old
creepier
child.
is that whoever this was just disappears as soon as the lights turn on. It's for this reason that viewers believe she had taken down the clip, as otherwise it would continue to remind her of this disturbing incident. Whatever was captured has left her extremely unsettled. Even though this video was taken a few years ago, it is still unknown as to whether or not Pershka had captured something paranormal on camera.
It looks like it could be, but then,
In the early
then how can we
2000s,
tell?
there used to be an abandoned asylum in Massachusetts known as Danvers State Hospital. Before shutting down in 1992,
Yes.
the asylum had an estimate of
What did it do? Oh my gosh. It went back? Seriously, you guys? It went back. Okay, let's go. Resuming.
had an estimate of 3,000
Sorry about the
patients,
technical
all of whom were severely
difficulties.
mentally ill and poorly treated.
Yeah, so, Massachusetts is, obviously, when you think of history, and you think of anything that's historically, especially in the American aspect, as Massachusetts is very significant. I didn't really like American history, so I can't really tell you why it's significant. A lot of historical things happened there. Historical people went there. Maybe Ben Franklin was there, but then again, Ben Franklin was everywhere. He was in France, he was in England, he was all over the place. So, busy guy. But other than that, you can just see by the looks of it that this is not a happy place. When you look at this, you feel sad. You just feel like you can feel the depression setting in. You're just like, this is just instant depression. As soon as you see this does not look like it was a happy place when it was open. It doesn't look like it's a happy place now. So, I guarantee you that it probably wasn't a happy place at any time. I know there's some people that will claim, and this happens every once in a while, you know, there's so many horror stories about these asylums, but, there are some people that have actually gotten help and they got it someday and good mental health treatments, but some people, did go to these facilities and they found a respite, they found, that they could relax, they found, good things there, but unfortunately for the majority of the people that I have talked to and read comments from, there's very rarely does someone say, oh my gosh, this place fucking saved my life. But, you know, mental health goes either way, it goes both ways, okay? And there's always an exception, and if it was good for you, it's good for you. If it was bad for you, that's horrible, it should never have happened. You know, I'm a firm believer of mental health. I think mental health is very much important. I think it should be top priority, and it's not in this country. Getting help often costs money, and when you're a poor person, you cannot get the adequate help, and so a lot of people just to avoid being on the streets or being homeless, will actually commit like petty crimes such as shoplifting or a burglary, things like that. And they'll do it just because they know in prison, within the prison system, they get medications, they get health care, and they get those kind of things. And it's horrible that people have to stoop to that level to get seen and heard and treated. But mental health is still very much an issue today. It's not a perfect system, and we're getting a better understanding of psychology and how our brain works. And we're trying, but even it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have, if you don't have the money or the means, or you don't live nearby where you can get these treatments, you're pretty much screwed. And you're going to end up in a shitty facility probably like this. And you're going to have a nurse ratchet. You're going to have somebody that doesn't really give a shit about people. And it's I would like to think that all that experimental stuff and all that abuse has ended, but I can tell you there are, to this day, mental health clinics that make it impossible for you to leave. So if you ever, just keep in mind, if you're going to admit somebody, without their knowledge or whatever, or you're thinking of admitting someone because you think that they're a harm to themselves, that's understandable, but also know that it's going to be really hard to get them back, because they always make excuses, and they will make problems out of nothing because they want them to stay there so that they can get enough money from the insurance. And they do that until they bleed them dry, essentially. And it's horrible, but things like this are still going on, and we need to be aware of it. And we also need to take care of our mental health so that we can be a beacon to those that struggle. Mental health is top priority. If you don't have your mental health, you're not going to enjoy your other aspects of health either. That's why it's very important to sort out your issues, get therapy, get a counselor, get a therapist, get somebody that you can talk to about the issues, because these issues can not only eat you alive, but eat other people alive as well. And it can bleed out on other people, and it can be an issue. So there's a real reason why there is so many of these places that are haunted, because the amount of anguish, the unspoken voices that are still not heard are, and I think a lot of paranormal investigators, they join to be paranormal investigators not for money, but to get these stories out there. And because some of these people that died didn't get their stories told. They weren't able to, either because they didn't have family, or they pushed it under the rug because, it was this big, a lot of people would admit their family members, and would just drop them off in facilities like this and just let them rot there, and wouldn't visit them, nothing, and they would just sweep it under the rug. And thankfully we have better ways of treating them, but as far as the means and the money, yeah, that's complicated. Enough said.
Nurses who used to work here recall seeing horrifying things that continue to haunt them to this day. From patients
PTSD.
Walking around in their own filth due to a lack of basic hygiene, to patients receiving forced lobotomies that would often leave them in a much worse state than before. Employees of the Danvers State Hospital are haunted by these terrible memories.
Yeah.
However, aside from the past, the asylum is infamous for being extremely creepy. After shutting down in 1992, teens would come here after hearing rumors that the building was haunted.
No.
Although this next video wasn't taken by a trespassing teen, it was taken by a curious security guard back in 2000 whose job was to look after the historic building. But little did he know that he would capture something very strange while exploring the basement of the asylum.
This is actually a job. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how do you find these jobs? Craigslist? Where do you get these jobs? Where do you get them? Is it like one of those things where you're like, hey, high school education required. We would like for someone to go alone in an asylum and look after it. That's like getting to be a do you realize that this job is about as desirable as being a security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Parlor? Okay? There's a reason that's a horror game. Animatronics are fucking creepy. Do I like them? Yes. It's the same thing with wax figures. Oh my gosh, they're terrifying. But you have a respect for them because, you know, they've been there a while, and, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, you have respect for them. It's like a spider. I don't like spiders. I don't like them in my bed. But if they're in a corner somewhere and they keep to themselves, I'm fine with that. But if they're in my head, on my head, in my bed, they're gonna get squashed. And I'm sorry. You know, if there's a spider god out there, I apologize. It's either me or the spider. Okay, it's survival. I'm trying to survive! Okay? Nothing against you personally, it's just too many appendages and too many... Yeah. I'm just going through an asylum. This is a great job. This is such an easy job. It's $20 an hour. $25 an hour for this. It's wet. I already don't like it. It's wet. Oh, don't even know where the water is coming from. It's wet. It's fucking wet. I wish my Sims went at 5 speed. That would make it so much easier. I don't understand. Can you adjust it in Sims 4 to have it so
it's a bit hard to see at first, but as the night guard pans the camera to a room inside the basement, a shadowy figure can be seen moving slowly inside.
It's got
the guard
eyes.
doesn't notice the figure until much later after rewatching the footage.
No, that's
Naturally,
not
he was left
eyes.
shaken up after seeing what appears to be a slender-looking silhouette walking further into the room as if trying to hide from him.
I don't know, it just
Mind
looks
you,
like somebody
the basement of
that
this building is completely inaccessible to outsiders, so there's no way that a trespasser could have been inside. It's no wonder that
But you
viewers
signed up
believe
for
something
this, right?
supernatural was captured.
You signed up
But of
for
course, the question is begged. Just what exactly
Right.
was caught on camera? Whether ghost or not, it remains a mystery as to what was
looks
captured.
like somebody that's depressed. If you notice how the posture of that being was kind of like this. It was hunched over. So, I would say that was possibly the ghost of somebody that lived there, or possibly somebody that has been there for a while. As I said, there are spirits that potentially used to be human, and then we have spirits that were never human. And either one, I can't say that either one is less dangerous than the other, because it depends on the spirit. And spirits are very diverse. They're about as diverse as we are. And they have different accents, different preferences. They speak different languages. They will, they have likes and dislikes. They have a love life, even from what I know. You know, they have romance. They have a type of romance in the afterlife. I bet you didn't know that. Yeah. They have romances. They have fun. They party. They like to party. They like to party. You know. People like to party. You know. It's just it doesn't end after you're just because you die. You don't just end. You know. And a lot of people are wondering, well, if spirits are out there, why hasn't the spirit of my loved one come to me? Well, it's quite possible they have come to you, you just didn't notice, or it's quite possible that they have really moved on. And as I said, when a spirit, the soul of a human leaves the body, okay? They died. They are figuring out their surroundings, and it's kind of up to them at that point to decide, do I want to be accessible to my family members? Do I want to figure shit out before I go to my family members? And also another thing is, how do I reach my family members? Because I'm in a different dimension, and I don't know, and some of them don't even know how to interact with the human realm. So it's very much a trial and error. It's very much, they have to practice, they have to figure things out, sometimes by themselves, sometimes with other spirits, but typically what they'll do is they'll try to find ways that they can interact. But sometimes spirits have had enough, they've had enough of humanity, so they decide to be inaccessible to humanity. They will go to a different dimension, a different place, and there's infinite realms and dimensions within the astral plane, the spiritual plane, so to speak. So they could do any number of things. They could go, and there's multiple reasons why a loved one isn't reaching out to you. First of all, maybe they had enough of whatever life was, and I don't think ghosts necessarily have unfinished business. I think they just think that they can maybe, I don't know, maybe they're there to reminisce, maybe they're there to let other people know what happened. Maybe they are lost. Maybe they feel that there's something that they're missing and they don't know what it is, so they wander around. And that's quite possible. I mean, you're figuring out how to be a ghost, you might want to, and ghosts are very habitual, so they often go to what they're familiar with in life. So this was a familiar place. Maybe this person had been there for a while and just wanted to make sense of things. Also, there's certain places that, like the Cecil Hotel and such, that are just ghost hangouts. They're just places where they socialize. And then other times it's just a place where there is a portal. It's not so much a portal, it's a place where spirits can just like go in and out because of the fact that the film between the spiritual realm and the physical realm is, or whatever realm that they're in, is very thin. And so they sometimes either by accident end up being there, or they actually purposely tried to find an opening. And not all spirits know how to enter an accessible realm that's within ours, that where they can interact with us. So there's a lot to consider of why a loved one isn't reaching out to you. They either are or they aren't, or they don't want to, 6.
Now, the following video was submitted to me by someone who has no idea where the video came from. Its original source is unknown.
I don't know where
but
this is
despite
from,
its
but here you
mysterious
go.
origins, the clip is sufficiently creepy on its own. The video seems to have come from a CCTV camera that was placed in front of a driveway. Everything appears to be normal until you notice the two strangers that are standing outside the owner's home. They come into view as the owner beams them with the car headlights, presumably as an attempt to scare them off. This, however, doesn't work. They're still there, while eerily standing still. It is at this point, though, where things get really creepy.
Seems like
Watch.
they're talking. They're talking. They're just like, they're very casual. They just seem to be talking. Oh. Go in and get. Go on and get. If you're having a hard time and negative energies are attracted to you, just say, go in and get. It usually takes care of the issue. I'm joking. That doesn't work. It probably would work a little bit better than, praying.
In utter
and
disbelief, the property owner sees the two
saying
strangers
Jesus Christ
disappear
a
without
lot.
a trace. Clearly, there had been two individuals standing outside, but somehow, they vanish as soon as the lights are flashed again. Now, how exactly this happened is something viewers can't seem to explain.
Now you see me?
And with little
Now
info
you
on this
don't.
clip, the video becomes even more mysterious. If two strangers were seen on camera, then how is it possible that they suddenly disappeared?
Isn't it funny though that some people they deny that there's existence of
In
ghosts?
the following
but
video, a man is
they
woken
believe that
up
there are
after hearing
demons.
strange noises inside his apartment. The man lives alone, so he finds it alarming to hear what sounds like an intruder inside his home. He quickly grabs his phone and begins to record.
I'm just saying, if every spirit that you ever saw was a demon, that's a lot of fucking demons. That's a lot of them. That's a lot. That's way too many. Oh, what is that? It's a demon. Okay? I have been to the astral plane, and I can tell you there are things far more terrifying than demons. People are really scary, actually. People are a lot scarier than anything on the astral plane, you know. I don't fear anything in spiritual realms. I don't. I have no... There's times where, you know, my heart might be in my mouth and I have to push it back in. There might be times where, you know, I feel something and or I get nauseated or, you know, things don't. But for the most part, if you calm yourself down and instead of running or freaking out and you just address the issue, most of the time they don't do anything. I mean, it's kind of like a dog chasing you. If a dog is after you and you just stop, often the dog will just go, "Oh, you're just standing there. Oh. 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 So, you're not scared of me?" No. I'm not. Okay, you know, it's gotten to the point where if I see Slender Man in the corner of my room, I'm just like, "Hi, how you doing? How you doing, bro? You doing good? You doing good? Yeah? Yeah? Chilling like a villain, as usual? How's your daughter? How's she doing? Yeah. I think I saw her on YouTube not too long ago. She looks good. She looks good. Very, very, very gaunt and ghastly, as usual. You know, I just end up just making conversation with them. I mean, I've had spirits that have tried to do certain things to freak me out. Like I think at one point, you know, I got my bed and I opened and immediately I saw worms. I was like, "Oh, that's neat." And the worms disappeared. And I was like, I kind of just looked at this spirit, this particular demon. I was just like, you know, I'm not really scared of worms, right? Like, I mean, yeah, that's kind of creepy that they're in the bed, but I'm not scared of worms. I actually used to pick up worms as a kid and try to save them. I didn't think they were, yeah. I tried to save them. I tried to put them back in the grass, and, you know, I'd find them in a puddle and I'd put them back. It's probably doing more harm than good, but I saw it as a life form, no matter how small. You know, I saw that as being something that was alive. So, yeah, worms don't specifically. I mean, I've seen. I've seen maggots before. It was gross. It was unsettling, but other than that, I think there are worse things out there than a maggot. You know, people think, "Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. That's gonna make you vomit." I'm like, they're nature. It's nature. Those are fly larvae. They're doing their job. They're trying to exist, and they actually do a lot of good. They consume dead flesh that would normally be contaminating the environment. So, and they're doing that to survive. So I don't see that as, you know, it's startling when you see one for the first time, and then like the second time you're kind of like, "Ew, that's gross," and then by the third time you're just like, "Oh, there's a maggot. What do you know?" What the fuck?
Strangely, the sound of footsteps can be heard coming from above, as though someone is in the attic.
It's just my neighbors.
Now, the man in this video is known as Nick
wait,
Long, and it wasn't until the next morning that he decided to leave from the safety of his room to investigate the attic space.
Don't do that.
He treads carefully as to avoid any physical confrontations.
Not much up there. Not much up there at all. No, not much. Wow, there's not a lot up there. empty. A lot of empty spaces.
As Nick looks around and checks every corner, he sees that no one is there.
Nobody
Not even
there?
traces of a person, such as footprints, can be found anywhere. This was definitely strange. But Nick doesn't really think much of it, since plenty of other strange things have happened before inside his apartment. Though, it would be a few
Stranger
nights
things.
later when the strangest encounter happens. Nick is once again woken up by strange noises from his attic. Only
the
this
door.
time, he decides to check it out as it happens.
A nice picture.
Needless to say, what's captured here is pretty spooky. Watch.
Wait, was that a lamp?
Guess I've been hearing weird noises and shit.
What was that? Oh, I think that was a lamp.
It's been like opening and closing.
Well, they know how to use doors. It's not
Yo, what?
doors. I'm just saying, if you've seen Casper Scare School, I'm sure opening and closing doors is probably a required lesson. If you're going to go to school and you're being trained, I'm pretty sure they're like, okay, now here we are. We're going to be manipulating doors. So the way the door opens is it opens and closes. It's a very simple mechanism, but it just takes a little bit of focus, and there you go. Now, who would like to try first? Would you like to? Do you? Okay, no. Okay, well, I will demonstrate, and then we'll have you try to duplicate what I just did. So, let me demonstrate. Hello?
Yo.
The door to the attic somehow opens on its own as soon as Nick approaches it. Feeling spooked, Nick is completely unsettled by this incident. It's now apparent that
unsettled.
something strange is going on. But as if things couldn't get any more creepy, the following night, Nick is recording his dog when he captures this.
What was that?
Well, the dog doesn't seem to know, so...
What was that?
Ah. Oh, sorry. Well, the dog doesn't seem that concerned. I mean, the dog just seems like...
Yo.
This is actually a really good way to see if you're in danger in any way. Dogs have these instincts, and they know very much so the character of a person, and they also know the character of a spirit. So, and this has been done before. If your dog is tensing up or growling at someone, there's usually a reason, and they don't just especially if it's a very friendly dog and it just starts growling at someone or something. Really listen to your dog, because your dog, as though, you know, you might not see anything, you may not see the threat, but they see a lot more than you do. They have vision, I can tell you, their vision, the way that they see your face, it's so sensitive that they can tell, you know, when one side of your face is going up. They know those little micro adjustments that you have on your face. They can tell by your body language. They can smell you. They can see what mood you're in. And that's why they are fantastic as service animals. They're fantastic because they know what's going on, and you do not have to communicate with them. You do not have to set up a bunch of buttons so that they can talk to you. They know what needs to be done, and they will do it. And they are trained. They love to please, and that's one of the things that they do. They will do whatever they need to do to get you. If something is really threatening you, they will do everything in their power to let you know that. So if the animal is not reacting like really negatively, it's quite possible that spirit really isn't something that is malevolent. Because if a dog is getting freaked out or getting aggressive, growling and that kind of thing, that's something that's not should not be in your home, should not be around animals. And also, there are spirits. Just because your dog is reacting negatively does not necessarily mean that it is a malevolent spirit. It may be the fact that there are some spirits that do not like dogs. They do not like dogs. They will kick dogs. They will push them out of the way. They do not, and not everybody's a dog lover, okay? I love dogs. I love all animals. I eat some of them. But don't we all? I eat the ones that are sold at the store. I don't eat dogs or cats or any of that. I eat, cows, that kind of thing, chicken, that, occasionally pork. But enough about my diet. Hey, if food is good and it gives you sustenance and you thank your higher power with all your heart, then that's all that matters. You're getting a balanced diet. You're getting your protein. You do you. If you want to be a vegan, be a vegan. If you want to be a vegetarian, be a vegetarian. If you want to eat meat till the day you die, go for it. Just don't force people to do as you do. You know what I mean? Just because someone doesn't do as you do does not make them a murderer, does not make them bad or evil. It just means they're different. And not all of us can be you. Not all of us can be me. And it would be very boring if we were all the same. We have variety. Some variety's good, some variety's bad. Other than that, yeah, really look at your animals. Your animals have a connection with the spirit realm. They always have. Every spirit. I attract a lot of animal spirits. In fact, when I first started doing just exploring my neighborhood, because there's a lot of spirits going on, I actually started discovering that a lot of the spirits that came to me were animals. I met a pit bull. I met a pit bull named Albert. I met a bear named Keith, believe it or not. There was a deer named Angela. And then there was some sort of mountain lion named... I don't remember what the mountain lion name was. But my favorite was having to name a spirit. I had a spirit that I met in the graveyard, and it was a Great Pyrenees, and I love Great Pyrenees. They're big, fluffy buddies. And I was able to actually name this particular dog. And they had specifically asked me, they said, name me. You choose the name. And I said, okay. So I named her Sunny. And I do believe I also have an elemental wolf that helps me as well. So I like dogs. Dogs are good. Dogs are good spirits too. They're good. Shoes. You have lots of shoes.
Nick's dog immediately goes on high alert. His dog is sensing something that doesn't appear to be there. It's as though he senses something dangerous. With all that's happened before, Nick believes that something isn't right with his apartment.
He senses something dangerous. First of all, those ears, the way they're kind of going back, that's usually, that is more of an alert thing, that rather than alarm. That can mean many things. It could just mean I am alerted to the fact that there is a presence in this room, and I see them, I feel them, I know something's here. I don't know what it is, but it's there, and the dog was moving very slowly. It wasn't getting spooked, so whatever this is not really posing a threat. I don't see him being alarmed. I see him being more like, okay, that's a little bit weird. There's something over there. I don't know what it is, but it's a little bit freaky. He just kind of looks at him and goes, yeah, it's weird. Like, a lot of these times, the humans get more scared than the dogs do. And that should tell you something. Like, if it was really threatening the dogs, you would know. You would definitely want a second opinion, but this spirit doesn't seem to be doing that.
He believes it might be haunted and thinks that the attic might have something to do with this. Whether ghost or not, he's deeply unsettled by these incidents. Despite living somewhere else now, he can't seem to forget the strange events that have happened there. So then, just what exactly was going on inside Nick's apartment?
I don't
Like
know.
most videos, this one remains a mystery.
Maybe somebody died there? Just thought.
This next video was recorded by a security camera inside an apartment complex. Not much is known about this video, except that it came from this residential building where the little girl and her family reside. The video starts off with footage of the young girl playing by a staircase. Below the stairs is what appears to be a small room. The little girl can be seen staring at something inside the room, but nothing noticeable can be seen on footage. Or at least, that's what the child's parents initially thought. It was
Yeah,
only
that's
after
what I
watching
thought.
this video multiple times that the parents were left horrified. Something was actually captured inside this room. Take a look.
I see like a big blob, a shadow that's kind of uncharacteristic to everything else, but the cat sees it. Oh. Okay. I don't know what that is. Yeah, that could be anything. It could be a homeless person.
It now becomes
all
clear
wrapped
as to
up
why the
in
little girl seemed
blankets.
hesitant to go inside. A disembodied hand can be seen beckoning to the girl.
Come.
It almost seems to come out of nowhere before disappearing into thin air. Even
Come
the
on
cat
in.
who later joins the girl
Come on in
seems
here.
unsure about going inside.
Come to the
Whatever this
dark
might have
side.
been was
We have
concerning enough
cookies.
to make them reluctant about entering the space. This mysterious footage, like most videos, has yet to be solved. But until then, you be the judge on what was captured inside this room.
Still yet again.
On
could be
August 23rd of
anything.
2023, George Cruz and his wife had just finished making dinner and were heading towards the living room to eat their meal.
Who's
The couple
moving the
sit close to
camera?
each other while watching their favorite TV program.
Who's moving the camera?
As minutes pass, it appears that nothing strange is happening in this footage. But fast forward to just a few more seconds, and something happens that scares the living daylights out of the couple. Prior to this incident, George and his wife had been experiencing strange occurrences inside their house. Before having to document any of these occurrences, they would often wake up in the dead of night and hear faint whispering coming from somewhere inside the house. But creepiest of all
gosh.
is when the couple would see household items move on their own. Over time, the activity has become so intense
told
that the
me
couple has
that
asked for help from those who
was-
specialize in the
was a ghost.
paranormal.
was
It
a
was
ghost.
recommended that they set up cameras around their
I
home
don't
to
know
capture
if I believe
evidence of the
that.
so-called paranormal activity, so the couple act accordingly. Weirdly enough, they were also told to get rid of a certain item inside their house. George and his wife own an old rocking chair, and apparently this chair is the
So-
source behind all the activity.
So, just FYI, if you know your Bible, which I know my Bible, I used to read the Bible all the time. I used to be a very good little Christian girl. And I read my Bible every day, diligently, until I became smarter. Yeah, and it actually, 666 is not the number of, it never actually specifies that it is the number of the devil anywhere. 666 is only referred to in two places in the Bible. One in, I believe, Kings 2, where Solomon had 666 bronze shields. And then again in Revelation, which is in the back of the book, that's the one with all the signs and stuff, where everybody thinks it's, tells you about the end of the world and all of that and the end times. Apocalyptic stuff, things that could mean other things, but we don't know what they really mean. There's so many interpretations at this point, like, how do we even know? And it said 666 is the number of man. The number of man. It never says that it's the number of the devil, the number of Satan, the number of Lucifer. It never specifies that. So 666 is very much a number that has been associated with devilry kind of thing, maybe because that number kept showing up in the paranormal stuff. Maybe it was a significant number for spirits. Either way, I do not see it as evil. I see it as just a number. It's just a number. And many spirits will use numbers that will either mean a date, a time, or sometimes they will be associated with the zodiac or with astrology and such. You know, sometimes that will have and then there's angel numbers, which can mean certain things. So there's certain numbers that have a certain message or can mean certain things. So perhaps 666 is very much a universal number that is used. It may have a significance that I am not aware of, but from what I know, just because you see 66 somewhere, it is not the number of the devil. The devil has not come upon you. It is just numbers. And if you're going to give powers to numbers, that's just ridiculous, okay? As I said, it's mostly a Hollywood-based thing. I don't think anybody really came to that conclusion until we were able to actually get footage of paranormal stuff. And then, of course, we have The Exorcist and The Omen. We have The Omen. The Omen actually shows... I've never seen the movie. I didn't really care to. I mean, I like Gertie Pack and everything, but it just kind of seemed silly, you know. And maybe one of these days I'll watch it, just for fun. And so I don't believe that 666 has any demonic connection. If it does, I think it's very circumstantial. You know, the number is very circumstantial, and it's usually used in Hollywood as a means to kind of scare people. A lot of churches will say that that's the number of Satan, and really there is no biblical proof of that. There's no actually like concrete evidence that says that 666 is like an evil thing, because I've come across 666 many times. I've come across Friday the 13th. I've watched the movies. Watched some of the movies. I've had only a couple of things that happened on Friday the 13th. Like there was this one time where something horrible happened, but it's not a reoccurring thing. You know, I think a lot of these things only have as much power as you believe that they do. And if you do not have belief that, it's really just a matter of putting your faith in something that you can trust, and putting your faith in yourself, and being brave, and realizing that there are a lot of things out there, but for the most part, spirits don't want to hurt you, but humans will. Humans will. They will strip everything from you. They will hurt you. They will steal things from you. They will manipulate you. They will even kill you. And it astounds me how people are so scared of AI. They're so scared of demons. They're so scared of this. This is a day and age where we need to stop being scared. We need to educate ourselves about technology. We need to educate ourselves about the spirit realm, and realize some of these things are only as dangerous as we want them to believe. They are only as dangerous as... Just don't give power to things that you shouldn't. Don't give your power. The moment you start fearing something, you're giving that entity, that person, that number, that place, you're giving that place power over your life. You're allowing it to affect you and control you. Do not be controlled by fear. I was controlled by fear, and I was a miserable person. I used to go through horrible depression because of that. Because everything I touched was a sin, was evil, was this, was that. I put myself into a box and feared everything. I couldn't even watch these paranormal videos because I thought something was watching me, and something was trying to connect with me, and I wasn't having it. I didn't understand what I was capable of. I didn't understand the wonders of being able to connect with the spirit realm. Now I do, and I'm used to it, and it's just come naturally, and I love being able to connect with my spirits. I love being able to just access any. I can talk to dead celebrities if I want to. You know, I've had wonderful experiences. I've done tarot readings for Madeline Kahn and Christopher Lee. I have had a hangout with Hans Conried and Vincent Price and Christopher Lee, and it was hilarious. It was fantastic. They've actually met. They met in life, so they were really happy to all be together, again. And spirits love to be around. They love to socialize, and they love the fact that somebody takes the time to talk to them and listen to them and help them on their way. You know, I give some advice to these spirits, and sometimes, you know, they have these realizations about themselves that they did not admit in life, and now that they can actually admit that this is what they are, because they're the same people. They didn't change. They changed forms, essentially. They're no longer physical. But they are still, that's the same soul. That's the same soul that you fell in love with. That's the same soul that you knew in life. They haven't changed. They may have evolved and gotten better coping mechanisms. They may have changed certain things, but that's the same person, same personality. They don't just suddenly just change and become a different person. That is something that happens gradually as they realize what they are and what they're capable of. You know, that happens over time. That doesn't happen instantly. It's something that they have to figure out for themselves, and sometimes with other spirits. So, you know, keep that in mind.
So the couple does exactly that by selling it. And surprisingly, a buyer has taken an interest in purchasing the chair. The couple holds onto the chair until the buyer comes over to pick it up sometime next week. But in the meantime, something very strange is captured on their cameras.
I got it on
No one is home
Craigslist.
when this is captured.
I got it on Craigslist. It's so cool. So it's rocking. Oh. Oh. Yeah, I don't like that table either. What's that? What's that sound? Somebody's moving the camera around. I don't like that pillow. It doesn't match with that couch. This chair should not be there. I think this is somebody that just doesn't like the setup. They don't like oh, yeah, they don't like the feng shui in this room. They're like, I don't like this. I don't like this. So in case you're wondering,
Eerily,
that sound
the chair
right
begins
there,
to rock back and forth
in
before
case you're wondering what that sound is, that's a mechanical sound. That means that they detected movement, which in this case, they detected a lot of movement. And also notice it was actually that border. So this isn't every single camera that you can get. Is it will often like circle, or it will put a square around what they think is a face, what they think is human or whatever. And so if your devices are picking up a face and there's nothing there, then don't be alarmed. Technology is actually very spirits have found out how to use technology. The information is accessible to them. In the spirit realm, there is infinite ways to learn, and they can just observe, or they can learn from another spirit. They can just watch and learn, and technology isn't difficult for them. It may be for us, but they understand it, and they see things on a molecular level. So it shouldn't be too hard to figure out how a camera works, because we're always thinking, oh, look what I caught. No, you didn't really catch anything, in the sense that you probably, because every single time in this footage, there's always a spirit that's sitting there, almost smiling, almost excited. They're like, I'm on camera, Mom. They always have a smile on their face too, or a look of like, ooh, hello. And it's purposeful. It's never, oh, I didn't know. It's usually never, I can't say that it's always, it's always never. That's bad English. You can't say that, like, you can't just say, oh, they didn't know that they were on camera, which if it was a child, yeah, maybe they didn't know that they were on camera. Maybe they weren't aware that they had these abilities because they just became a spirit and they're still learning. But for the most part, I think a majority of these things they're not just like they know when they're being watched. They know when they're on camera. They understand technology. They're not just going around and just randomly showing up and going, whoops, sorry, didn't mean to come on camera, this is so embarrassing, oh, let me disappear. No, it's mostly like, hi, how you doing? Oh, are you doing a live? You're doing a live? You brushing your teeth? Are you doing that? Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to check in on you and just kind of, yeah. So is this the TikTok? Is this Instagram? I hope that this is going to be shown on YouTube, right? You gonna show it? Or are you gonna put it on Reddit? Please don't put it on Reddit. They're almost like looking and checking it, and it's very deliberate. It's like they're photobombing. Every single time they look like they're photobombing. There's a reason for that. They purposefully do these things so that they can show us who they are. And that should tell you something. They want you to see them. Now, there's some spirits that don't like to be on camera, okay? There's some of them that don't want to be on camera. And you probably won't see them. And yeah, occasionally there's a spirit that may not know that they were on camera, but gosh, spirits have been around for how long? Probably since the dawn of man, okay? Probably since the dinosaurs, okay? So we've gotten, and they know a thing or two about our technology. Do you think they're just wandering around not understanding that they're on camera? They know. Just like some guy's checking you out, they know when someone's checking them out. They know your intentions. They feel your intentions. They are aware of your emotions, very hypersensitive to your energies. So if you're bullshitting them and telling them that you're so confident and inside you're a little squealing girl or a little mouse, they're gonna know. They're gonna know, and they may take the opportunity to take advantage of that because they know something that you think they don't know. So they're like, yeah, so yeah, if you're gonna set up cameras, they're gonna put on a show. They're putting on a show. They are doing this probably for their entertainment. Maybe they're doing it just because for fun. But either way, they choose to do these things. It is deliberate. It is never just like, oh, you know what? Oh, the other day, do you know what happened, Shirley? Well, Diane, I was shown on camera. You were shown on camera, like a human can? Yes. Did you mean to? No, I was just, it was an accident, I wasn't meaning to be shown. It's never, I don't think there's any conversations about that. I mean, there may be some amateur ghosts out there that just don't know what they're doing, but for the most part, if they weren't human at any time, they know what they're doing. They're photobombing. They're putting on a show. They're trying to make themselves known as much as they can, and that's what they're doing. Do they not know that you exist?
Somehow, other objects inside the house move on their own. Although terrified by what was captured, the couple is glad they had caught this. They can now show this video to those who've doubted their claims. However, this wouldn't be the only footage they'd be showing, because as of recent, more activity has been caught on camera. Not long after this video, the following incident was captured. Take a look.
that's a person. They know it's a person, so it's like recognizing it. Camera moves as if movement was detected. Huh? What was it? What was it?
Now,
Was
moments
something
before an
moved
object
to the
falls down,
bookcase?
the camera pans over to the shelf
The
as though
bookcase
sensing
moved.
movement in that area. What's weird about this, though, is that it sensed it before the DVD case had fallen on its own. Now, one could say that the camera picked up movement from the TV,
Oh, like they can't
but if
let-
that were so,
because, like,
then the camera
they-
would have already moved earlier, given that there were things moving on the screen way before the camera had moved. It seems like this was a random occurrence, unless it was sensing something else. The couple continued to document these strange occurrences in the hopes that someone could explain
There's
what's
nothing
happening.
random about
Ultimately, their goal is to stop the activity.
obviously
But
manipulated
until
the
then,
technology
it
to
seems
look
they'll
at them
continue to share
before
more
it
footage
happened.
of this unusual
It was
situation.
deliberate. It was deliberate. It was deliberate.
In the following video, a man is alone at home when he realizes that the lights in his basement won't turn on.
Home Alone
Feeling a bit
again.
scared, he walks down into the cellar with caution. According to him, it's not the darkness
Okay,
that scares
I don't know about
him,
you.
but the
I'm sure you're a fan of Home Alone. If you're not, you're probably one of the few that don't. It's a classic for a lot of people for Christmas. You know, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. You know, it's a classic, and it's shown in. You know, it's on Disney Plus if you're interested. If you want to know where it is, all of them are on there. Every single one, the sequels, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything. So, yeah, with that being said, you know, this is yet again a Home Alone scenario. Why are these people always home alone? I do not understand this. And the fact that you would announce it to the internet is also very dangerous. So this is something to know. When you're on social media, doesn't matter if you're on a live, you just made a recording, or it doesn't matter where you are. But if you're on technology where people can readily access your content, do not tell them that you're home alone. Do not say that. It doesn't matter if it's in a text or anything else. If anybody, this is what I don't like, is when people, there have been guys that have asked, so do you live alone? That is so fucking creepy. Why would you ask that? Do you live alone? No. What I said is, I have 4 Rottweilers. Oh. Yeah. And then I explained how it attacked it almost attacked the mailman. I don't have Rottweilers. I don't. But it's a strange man texting me, asking me if I'm alone. I'm gonna lie about it. I'm gonna lie about it. Even if I am alone, I'm gonna lie. The reason for this is, if somebody already has tracked your location, already knows where you live, already knows your address and that kind of thing, and has already gotten it either through hacking or some sort of tracking system, telling them you are alone is a very dangerous thing, because if and when a predator finds out where you live, they are going to know that you are not protected. This makes you a target. When you are alone, it always makes you a target. Never say that you're alone in any fashion. I get it. He's probably a guy. He doesn't fear it, but I can tell you, people can look around your home, kind of figure out that there was a guy that committed a bunch of crimes on a live stream. I don't know what he did. I think he was like killing cats or something, you know, breaking the legs of kittens or something really sick. And eventually they found him, and you know how they did it? They did it by looking around his room. The camera had been around his house, and they could tell from the way that the room was shaped to the plate to what was outside. They were able to determine where that person lived. Remember that. If the police can frickin' do that, anybody can find out where you live, okay? Anybody. By just looking. So, unless you're like a YouTuber that you have to show your house and that kind of thing, don't be giving tours of your house. It's just not safe. And I know this is creating paranoia, but it's just not safe to tell people that you're home alone. That just makes you more vulnerable and more, and if you're a live streamer, you're making yourself very, very accessible. Now, if somebody finds out where you live or knows where you live, it may or may not be a big deal, but the moment you say that you're home alone, that is going to just really is going to make people, they're going to like, oh, yay, let me just look at the clues in your room and I could tell where you are.
Basement itself.
Yay.
From time to time, noises such as footsteps or the sound of someone walking back and forth can be heard coming from inside. This often happens when no one else is at home. Now, the man had this experience previously, but it was at his job.
Yeah, this is a guy.
He works as a grave digger, and oftentimes, after placing a coffin inside a freshly dug grave, he would feel as though someone else was there with him.
In a cemetery?
Although unable to explain this unusual sensation, it would be the following incident that leaves him extremely baffled. The man checks the basement to see why the lights aren't turning on, but he checks carefully because, as he states, he just heard the sound of footsteps walking about as though someone is down there. Be sure to pay close attention, as what was captured wasn't noticed until looking closely. This is what was caught.
At the moment, in the basement, and I swear I keep hearing someone walk. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's kind of creepy.
I don't know what it is, but it's
Laundry room still has power, so that's good.
Yay!
But the rest of the basement's power is completely out, which is very strange.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I went to someone's house. It was an apartment, and it was a nice neighborhood. Up in Portland, outside of Portland, kind of in the Beaverton area. And I was house sitting. And I noticed, I remember that the door was closed, and then, as I said, I know I shouldn't have said this, but I'm not saying it. I was alone at the time. There was a dog that I was house sitting. I was dog sitting, essentially. And all I know is that the door opened, and I looked over, and it, some time had passed. I wasn't really looking, but the door had opened, and I went in there because it was the main bedroom. There were several guest bedrooms, but this was like the owner's bedroom. So I went there, and I noticed that all the power was off, and I was not very keen on going into that room because I felt like something was there, and it was a very it's very eerie when you're in a house that you're not familiar with, and you guys, there were like mirrors everywhere too, so that was a little bit uncanny. And I was just looking around, and I was just like, I'm not going over there. But other than that, I didn't have any problems. There was one time where the dog, a cute little dog, so cute, dog went to like the sliding glass door and looked over and started growling. I looked out there. There was nothing there. I I had the sense that whatever it was just watching. It was just like it was a predator of some sort, but it was just kind of watching. It didn't mean any harm. Immediately, I just felt this sense of like I had the sense that I don't mean any harm. I'm just here. I'm just looking in, that kind of thing. I looking around the neighborhood. I don't know to this day if that was a spirit or not. It may have been. I think it was a coyote because there were quite a bit of coyotes in that area, and coyotes are quite a problem. We made it. I made sure that I wasn't walking the dog late at night because apparently some dogs had gone missing because coyotes tend to they will abduct little tiny dogs. They will try to attack them, and yeah, they're quite mischievous little. Oh, I don't know what that was. Should have taken a picture.
What that noise was, but
What was it?
I don't know. I'm home alone right now, so we'll see, I guess.
Shut up.
Look out back.
Did you just move here? You have like no furniture. You have no furniture.
No, nothing back there. I don't know.
You have like no
There's been
furniture.
a lot of strange things happening.
Now it happens real fast, but in case you missed it, if you look closely as the man pans the camera to the bathroom, you can see what appears to be a strange, shadow-like figure standing completely still inside a bathtub. It doesn't appear to be moving at all, as if who, or whatever this was, had been entirely stiff.
I'm claiming.
Even creepier is that when the man returns to the bathroom, the figure is no longer.
I think somebody committed suicide, probably, or tried to. Within that, you often hear about that. How people try to slit their wrists in bathrooms. So this might be that case.
Longer there. Given its strange appearance and sudden
Maybe it just lived
disappearance,
there
the
before.
man thinks that something supernatural was captured. But as always, I'll leave it to you to come up with your own conclusions.
Nothing's there.
Could it be that someone had broken in and quickly hid away from the man? Or might this be something completely different?
That's the thing. If this was not a ghost, he would have seen it, right? I mean, if it was a person, we're pretty much kind of, our brains are kind of wired. If we see a human, we usually look in that direction. It's kind of, I don't know, probably just an instinctual thing, but I'm pretty sure our brains are wired to like look at something. If it's human, if it's a human shape, we look over there. So the fact that he didn't see it, kind of, yeah, it was just weird.
If you caught something creepy on camera,
Got ghosts?
or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation, you can send them over to scaryvideos444@gmail.com.
You didn't want to 766.
That being said, let's get back to the video.
You didn't want to do that.
This next video was taken inside an old restaurant that is currently being renovated. The
Yay!
person recording this doesn't say where exactly this footage was taken, and for good reason. Aside from privacy, this place isn't safe to be in. It's not just the construction that makes it unsafe, but rather something else. For just an idea of why that is, the owners of the restaurant are deeply afraid of the strange things that have happened here. Now, the person recording this is someone who I featured in a previous video. They too have been experiencing strange happenings and believe that it won't stop unless they move out from home. Given their
Seriously,
experience with this
you're
unusual
scared of
phenomenon,
spirits.
they were invited to see this restaurant before it's completely demolished. Although expecting to see something unusual, nothing happens. That is, until much later when they head over to the back of the restaurant. What happens then is terrifying to say the least. This is what they caught.
Okay. Okay, it's detecting motion. It's detecting a face. That's detecting a human face is what it's doing.
Oh, it's cold right here.
Is it?
The other way. Hello? Going up there. Definitely not going back there.
How loud?
Oh
did it
wow,
say?
it is really cold right here.
Yeah.
What was that?
Take note of temperatures. Temperatures are a sign that something may be there. But take note of temperatures that drop in a place that they shouldn't.
Oh.
In a place that they shouldn't. So if there's a place that is consistently
I don't think
warm
it's
and all of
happy
a
we're
sudden
here.
you're getting goosebumps, something's there.
Oh,
Notice also where the cold is coming from. Like, is it coming from this? Is it coming... What position is that cold coming in from your body? Because that will tell you
holy, dude,
where it's coming from.
Initially, a strange shadow can be seen peeking from a corner.
You might not know.
The man, whose name is Win, doesn't notice it until much later, after feeling a sudden drop in temperature. The room suddenly becomes cold when out of nowhere, the small figure is seen by Win. Upon seeing this, he quickly hides away as if frightened by whatever this was.
It's a very simple thing.
But as if think,
For ghosts to be able to control their environment and specifically cold, warm, specifically cold, sometimes things will be slightly warmer depending on how that ghost is feeling or what they want to convey, but they want to convey that they're there. And don't get me wrong, but you know, they do what we do. Is if you can get something shocking to happen, you're gonna get someone's attention. That's why a lot of these videos have these shocking titles and shocking videos and, oh, a demon possessed me, or blah blah blah. It's because shock value works, and ghosts know this. So how can they shock you? Cold. Nobody likes to be cold. Nobody likes to be cold. People don't like to be particularly hot either, but when you think of warmth, you think of sitting by a fire, it's nice and toasty. But when you're cold, you think of, this doesn't feel good. You think of frostbite. You think of Jack Frost. You think of things that are unsettling to you, and cold is more unsettling than warmth. I can tell you that. Something warm is not going to really alert someone. It's just going to be, oh, it's quite warm in here. Oh, yeah, I'm going to turn the fan on. But rather, when something is cold, you'll be, like, unsettled. There's a reason.
this couldn't get any
It's deliberate.
creepier.
It's
The
deliberate.
mysterious
It's
shadow
deliberate.
disappears. Feeling extremely unsettled, Win walks out as fast as possible and ends the video there. If the reason for demolishing the restaurant is to get rid of whatever this was, then maybe it's best to completely relocate from this place. But until further info is given to clarify this incident,
Why not just
it
open
seems
it?
that we won't know for sure as to who or even what was inside this restaurant.
Because you don't want to show
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Also, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and make sure to hit the bell icon so you don't miss any uploads in the future. That being said, until next time,
Don't
peace.
watch alone. It's scary.
In the following video, a concerned mother is recording her daughter who just told her that a guy is inside her room.
What guy?
The guy.
The guy is at the door.
So this is another thing that kind of this is what really grinds my gears, so to speak, is that so many children purport to having a monster either under their bed or in their closet or in their room. Now, sometimes there have been actual cases where it was actually a person. There was this little boy that kept drawing pictures of a man, a very scruffy looking man, that would give him candy and would come into his open door. Now, at first, the parents just thought it was an imaginary friend. They didn't think any of it, but it turned out it was an actual man. It was a homeless man that was coming in through the open window and visiting this young boy. They eventually were able to track him down and find out who he was. And he was, I think he had a past of being a child predator. And so listen to your kids. Don't assume that it's just an overactive imagination, because this is a worldwide phenomenon. Every child, not every child, but I can tell you that many children have said things like, I see a man in the tree, or there's something in the closet, there's something under the bed. How long has that been going on? A really fucking long time. And we have to come to the conclusion, if there's so many cases of that, they can't all be mentally ill. They can't all be just have this overactive imagination. And it's always pushed aside as like, oh, it must have been something some kid told them. It must have been something that, you know, it's a story. It's a, but if they're like 4 or 5 years old, they don't have access to creepypasta. They're not watching horror movies. They're innocent. And how do they come up with these names like Rahiel and Manakal? These names are not something that are in any books that are told by any preschoolers or kindergarten teachers. That's not something that they do. Okay, like these are very complicated names. Sometimes children will even go as far as to remembering things that happened thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, 10 years ago. They'll know things that they, how you're wondering how they know. We need to stop ruling it out as just imagination. Something is there. Something is under the bed. Something is in the closet. And as scary as that is for a parent, you need to acknowledge it. You need to acknowledge your kid isn't crazy. Your kid isn't just creative. Especially if they keep claiming that it's there. They're not lying to you. And how many do we know that have imaginary friends? A lot of them do. And then they get to a certain age where, they don't play with them anymore. But children have a connection to the spirit realm. There is something there. Stop trying to discredit them just because you want to feel better, okay? You need to be open to all possibilities. It could be an actual intruder. It could be a spirit that's just helping them out. It could be a spirit that wants to possess them. You don't know. So as a parent, it is your responsibility to rule all the options instead of going, oh, it's just overactive imagination, she's going through a stage. Yes, there are stages of children's lives where they potentially, are very creative, but when they're sitting there and they don't seem to be lying, they seem to be like very adamant. I've seen kids, they'll just say, no, there's something there. There's something there. And I love how some of these parents react. Some of them are like, okay. Some of them actually go as far as to say, okay, where is this person? Show me. Show me. And, of course they don't see anything, but they're like, wow, you're scaring mommy. You're scaring mommy. And yes, they should be scared. It's something that's scary. It's something they can't see. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be a threat to you. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a threat to your child. But you need to rule out all the possibilities. That sometimes not all threats are seen. Not all threats are going to be shown to you. Sometimes threats may disappear. And also another thing that would be very harrowing is if your child really was talking to an actual person. That's very disturbing. I would prefer, if I had a kid, I would prefer them to talk to spirits than talk to a homeless man that came in through the window. Okay, I would rather them have a creepy sidekick or a creepy imaginary friend than have that. Because a person, okay, a spirit has a potential of maybe harming you, maybe possessing your kid, but a person has the potential to take your child physically and kidnap them and never bring them back, okay? Let your imagination take you where you want it to, but it's probably not going to end well. And I hope that they find that kid because you need to listen to your kids, you need to listen to your pets, listen to your children. Just because they're small does not mean that they are stupid. Some children have wisdom beyond their years. I was that child that had wisdom beyond my years. I knew things without knowing why I knew them. Did I have an overt active imagination? Yeah, probably. Probably. But there are a lot of things that my imagination cannot explain. There's a lot of things. For instance, if something just pops up into your head, or you say something all of a sudden that doesn't seem like something you would think or something you would say out loud, it's quite possible that that's a spirit that's trying to connect with you. They can send telepathic messages to you. They can do that. That's why they can reach, they can get into your head too. And get into your dreams. They can't necessarily read your mind. They can read probably certain areas of your mind, but it's crazy. So, listen to your kids, you guys. Don't think it's just
Guy.
because
Can we go together?
Yeah.
she's being such a good mom.
Do you want to open the door or you want mommy to open it?
I want mommy to open it.
See, she's reassuring her. She's gonna open.
The guy?
Opening.
Yeah. She's scary.
He's going in. She's
He's scary.
I'm scared.
It's okay.
No.
No one appears to be in this room, yet strangely, Jessica's daughter sees someone who she says is scary.
yeah.
Now, despite there being nothing alarming, there is something in this room that's worth noting. The playhouse in the center is a space where Jessica's daughter often plays in. Most of her time is spent playing or eating inside, which is why Jessica decided to renovate the playhouse to make her feel more at home.
Aw,
For a house tour of Emma's
I always wondered one of those as a
and I'm
kid.
gonna show them the door, okay? She really wanted it to have a doorbell camera like our front door, so I put on.
From the color of the
cool.
house to the same doorbell, every detail was inspired by the actual
Such
house
a
they
cool
live in.
mom.
However, only a few days after remodeling, something strange had occurred. On the night of January 3rd of 2025, the doorbell
Aw,
camera
so
started to
cute.
record.
I love
Now
the
this
room.
only happens when someone is at the door and near the doorbell, but upon being activated, the camera recorded this.
Okay. At all? What is the heck? What? What is that? Wait. Is that the little girl? Wait. Wait. What the heck is that with hair? Okay, I'm just unsettled because there's that thing there. And it's just floating there. Is that like a Barbie head? Oh. So Barbie head or something. It's like something you would maybe it's a wig. Because that was unsettling. I see a bust there. What is the light? What's the light coming from? Yeah, I think that's one of those Barbie heads that you play with. How Mom looks a little... She's like... Third time, by the way. Yeah,
Jessica was completely baffled, as she wasn't expecting the door to open on its own. If it was just the doorbell going off by itself, then one can say that it was just a technical issue. But then, this happens. The door continues to swing open for just a bit, when suddenly, the hair on the mannequin is seen hanging in the air before abruptly falling down. There doesn't appear to be anything that could have caught the strand of hair, and the way it falls makes it seem like someone, or something, had loosened their grip on the strand. Now this whole situation gets creepier when considering that Jessica's daughter occasionally sees a guy in her room, but this guy is never seen. While no evidence of this man exists, there appears to be evidence of something else, and it's not the only evidence that Jessica has. One night, before heading out to a dinner party with friends, she gets a notification from the doorbell camera. Take a look.
I was just about to head out, and I started getting a notification that the doorbell in my kids' room upstairs is going off.
Why is it sideways?
If the video before didn't disturb Jessica, then surely this one did. It starts off again with the doorbell seemingly acting up, but unlike previously, someone or something is heard. Listening through the doorbell's microphone, Jessica and her babysitter hear a distorted noise mixed with someone speaking, but whoever is talking doesn't appear to be saying anything intelligible. In fact, it sounds like someone chanting or speaking a different language. It's hard to say honestly, but there's no denying that something about this is pretty unsettling. Whether it's the activity in the playhouse or the mentioning of a man who can't be seen, Jessica is thoroughly shaken up and concerned. The playhouse has been taken apart ever since then, but still, from time to time, Jessica's child says that she sees the guy.
What guy?
The guy.
The guy.
If no one is there, then what exactly is her daughter being
guy.
afraid of?
It's a guy. These guys are scary. Some of them are.
Now the following video was submitted to me by Connor M, who was home alone when this happened. The house that Connor lives in is on a street where people's homes often get burglarized, but despite living in a dangerous neighborhood, nothing could have prepared him for what occurred in his house. Connor briefly describes the events of that night. In his own words, "I was alone. My daughter stayed over at my ex-wife's house, and my dog was outside. I'm still shaken up by this." It's late at night when Connor hears shuffling in the
Yet
kitchen.
again, not a good idea. Where did you post this, on Reddit? I'm just curious. Where do you think that... We live in a day and age where anything and everything is accessible. There's gotten to a point where there's really no mystery left. We have people that are just live streamed 24/7 because they can. They have the equipment to do so. I've seen people where they'll put cameras on when they're asleep. That's freaking weird, but to each their own, I guess. Yeah, don't. If there's a predator out there, where do you think they're going? They're going to Reddit. They're going to YouTube. They're going to TikTok. They're going to these places, Well, probably not TikTok if they live in the States. But they're going to be going there. They're going to be thinking, okay, well, you know, if they've had some issues in the past, let me go check out their house. They can figure out your schedule. Well, they don't even have to really figure that out much. They don't even have to figure out much. They can just, like, be like, okay, you know, because you show your schedule on a live. You show what you're doing. You show when you're done with that live. When you have lunch, when you have dinner, they can figure out your entire schedule. They don't have to go to your house. They just go to your house and they instinctually know when you're going to be home. Because they've seen your lives. They've seen your posts on Reddit and Facebook and Instagram and whatever other social media and live stream service that's out there. They're gonna know. So yet again, in a world where anything and everything is accessible, don't make it easier for predators to find you by saying that you're alone. If you're on any kind of, like, you know, Omegle or something, and somebody asks, stupid movie anyway, so, but in the long run, if somebody thinks that they are, if you say something like, yeah, no, I have 4 Rottweilers in the back, doesn't matter if you have them or not, or it doesn't even matter if you have a boyfriend, but tell them that you are not alone. And if you need to, lie about it. Lie about it. You do not owe anybody information of where you are, your address, or whether you're alone or not. It's really none of their business, and that's a very creepy thing to ask. Are you alone? Are you alone? I don't know. Maybe people just aren't aware how creepy that is, but it is fucking creepy. Are you alone? Only a handful of guys on social media and texting apps have actually asked that. And every single time I say, no, I'm not alone. I don't know if I was alone at the time, but I never ever stated that I was alone. I said that I was armed with Rottweilers. I said that my boyfriend was right there. I told them that it was, you know, that I live with family or something, you know. It's one thing if they ask you, you know, or do you live with family? Then you can say, yeah, I live with family. Go ahead, say that. If it's true, good. If it's not true, not a big deal, because people live with family all the time. It used to be this thing where it's like, as soon as they're 18, they kick them on the curb. No, now it's getting so expensive that people have to bunk down with other people. And who do you bunk down with? Who do you trust the most? Your family. So people are, there's no longer that stigma of, I'm living in my parents' basement. Now it is a trend. Now it is socially acceptable. Why? Because it's harder to live alone than it is to live with other people. You have bills, and the bills are combined, and you can easily keep track because everything goes in the same place. Everybody shops for the same things, so it's easier that way. It's that simple. And nowadays, you can tell them that you're not living alone. You can tell them that you're with family. Either way, whether it's true or it's not true, you do not have to tell the truth to a perfect stranger. Okay? You don't deserve. They haven't proven their worth. You don't owe anybody. And I know they say don't lie, but I'm gonna say little lies go a long way, especially when it comes to your safety. You can bullshit when it comes to online. People are bullshitting other people all the time. So what's one more bullshitter, okay? If you have to bullshit out of a situation that could be potentially dangerous, do it. Don't be all, oh, it's morally corrupt to lie. It's morally corrupt to lie if it means that it's hurting someone. But since this is protecting you, it is morally acceptable.
This is his footage. Watch.
If anybody's here, I'm calling the cops.
What the heck?
God damn it.
Yet again, that was bizarre. That was bizarre. That was just bizarre. So I was just watching this video, right? And Google Assistant just got activated. I don't remember if it's knows my voice or not, whether I put voice recognition in there. But it started saying that, like, it came up with this paragraph. I didn't even read it because it just disappeared so quickly. But what it did is it was activating Gemini, which is the new AI, it's the new bot, literally. People are so scared about AI, and it's just like, you've been using it this entire fucking time. You just don't know it. It's just called something else now. It used to be called a chat bot. It used to be called a help bot. It used to be called Alexa, Siri. These are programs. They aren't conspiracy theories. They aren't getting into your head. They aren't controlling your life. They are literally just assisting you. They are making your photos better. They are swapping your photos with your dog. They are operating Google as we speak. They are moderating your Twitch lives. They are doing things that you don't even know that they're doing. But we get scared of it because, oh, we don't know what it is. Well, educate yourself and you will find out there's really nothing to fear. I use AI constantly and I do not have any security issues. There's nothing has ever happened. I don't have any problem. But yeah, it literally just said that whatever I was saying was not true. Like, and it had this long description of like, you are saying things that are false. I was like, okay, thank you. I don't know if there's been a couple of times where with paranormal stuff is that certain things will be triggered on my phone, and things will just show up. Happens. Weird place to put a water heater, but okay. Oh wow. Somebody's moving the that was just the fan, right? That was just the fan. Moving it. Oh, I see. Somebody turned on the fan.
No!
Ah! I'm just checking the phone. Oh my gosh, it actually took the knife out of the...
No!
Somehow, a knife launches off and flies straight towards Connor. Thankfully missing him, the sharp blade lays close to his feet. But had he stood any closer, this video would have had a rather unfortunate outcome. From fearing that someone broke into his house to encountering this, Connor was immensely terrified. As he states, when it comes to things that can't be seen, there's no telling when the knife in your kitchen might fling itself at you with no apparent cause. Now that's creepy.
Yeah, it just came out of the thing, too. Just showed up.
On December 9th of 2023, a hospital surgeon is freaking.
Well, if you noticed, it kind of just was like, I don't know. It seems like here was the knife. This is a pair of scissors. So here's the knife, and it just seemed to kind of go, pip. So it's almost like they took it out, but they didn't really aim. They weren't like, bang. It was more of, from what I could see, the way it clattered was if you were to do this. So if you were to go like this and then go like that, the way it fell was kind of, I think that was a scare tactic. It really wasn't aiming for him. It was more of just picking it up and dropping it. It was just like, mess with me and see what happens. I can put this knife, I can take it out. I can unsheath it and I put it on the floor. It literally just looked like they dropped it. Or tossed it. But they weren't aiming. It was almost like, it was kind of almost like they were throwing it. They were just like, here you go, here's a knife. That's what it looked like. It looked like to me.
Out after seeing something that she couldn't believe.
So
According
it
to
may or
her,
may
she was
not
inside
be
the
an
operating room
attack.
filming a video for her surgical students when she had to stop and leave immediately. As she states,
Not all
something
spirits
was
want to
watching
attack
her.
you. FYI.
Now this video comes from a social account that doesn't post anything like this. All the videos on this page are purely educational and meant for students who want to become surgical technicians. But this video, however, was posted for anyone who could help explain this. Tiffany has no idea what was captured, but hopes that someone does. This is her
I hope
footage.
someone sees it.
Watch.
At chromic catgut, the difference is, I'm so sorry, my brain. Okay, here we go, back. Okay. So here we have two different kinds of sutures, polypropylene monofilament and chromic catgut. The difference between these two is that this one is dissolvable and it's animal derived, and the sutures last anywhere from 60 to 90 days.
Alright. Puddle. Oh, something. She's like janitor staff, you know. And again, I don't understand how someone could be alone. It's a huge hospital. Why would you be the only one there?
Literally tearing up right now. I saw it.
Why would you be the only one there? Okay, so there is somebody else there. That's good. She's not completely unprotected. She's not completely unprotected, so there's somebody else there. That's good.
Can you please just show yourself?
Okay.
Just give me a sign.
Are you sure? Are you sure? I left my phone in case something happens when I'm gone. I wanted to give it some space. Oh, you're being so considerate.
Do whatever you want.
Just don't hurt me. So that is the air blower, as you know. Makes that noise. It's not a growl, it's the... Oh, there we go. Okay. They're just closing the door. They're like, I think we should close this door.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and he actually saw it with her. What? What? What happened? We're going back. We're going there. Oh, wow. Yeah. have
What
seen
was
this
meant
before.
to be a simple lesson on sutures had turned into something out of a nightmare. Tiffany writes that she had caught a glimpse of a figure standing at the window, which then quickly fled away to the other side of the hospital. It was brief, but terrifying enough to put Tiffany in a state of shock. She couldn't exactly tell what it was that she saw, but based on what others have reported seeing at this hospital, Tiffany thinks this may have been the so-called ghost of this place. Almost everyone there has either seen or heard something strange, and for some reason, it's the women's restroom that's by far the most haunted. For this reason, Tiffany hurries over to the spot, but nothing is seen. That is, until minutes later when this is captured. A door opens on its own, and eerily, a dark figure rushes past the automatic doors. But even more unsettling is the fact that it quickly moves from one side to the other. Its fleeting motion only makes it creepier. Now to this day, there's only 1 or 2 videos on this account that talks about this incident. Aside from those, not much has been said about this. But unfortunately, as with most videos, this one remains a mystery. Now the source of this next video is unknown, as it was submitted to me by someone who only sent this clip. However, they do give some information. According to them, this clip originates from a city in Brazil where a man noticed a strange-looking person in the middle of a road. Whoever this person was didn't seem to be acting normal. In fact, this person wasn't doing anything, as they weren't moving at all. They were frozen in place, unbothered by anything around them. But after the man took a closer look, he quickly began to record. He was filming just in case no one would believe what he saw. A figure resembling a person is seen standing still. However, no head or chest is seen. Only the lower half of this body is visible.
So that was
But
kind
as if
of
more parts of this body couldn't disappear, the figure completely vanishes after a motorcyclist crosses its path.
It was almost like
Now,
it was
there
part
is
of the
nothing.
background.
It's as if the figure had hitched a ride with the
Sorry, I had my mic
motorcyclist
off
after passing
because
by. Now, whether or not this was supernatural remains a
tends to
mystery,
pick up a lot of
but as
things.
always, I'll let you be the judge on what was captured.
And when there's a
Just
lot
what
of
could
commotion,
possibly explain the partial figure that
outside
was
or
caught on
whatever.
camera.
I don't want everything to be heard. This microphone is pretty
On December
powerful.
21st of 2024, a mother named Anisha posted a video that her son recorded while the whole family was asleep. The reason he recorded this
And-
video was to capture the elf on the shelf toy moving when no one was awake. He's 4 years old and believes that the elf actually comes alive and does all sorts of mischievous things around the house. Many young kids believe this, as it's become a trend for parents to mess up their house and tell their kids that the elf did it. However, Anisha's son really wanted to see the elf do its thing, so he places a camera directly across the elf toy and films it overnight. The next day, he checks the footage and sees something that scares the
What
living
could go
daylights out of
wrong?
him. He immediately shows his mom, and she too gets freaked out by the footage. This is what they saw.
Blue chip. Can I pour some in my cup?
Thinking that her son actually recorded the elf moving, she watches closely, but what appears instead is something way more terrifying. Like a scene out of a horror movie, the silhouette of a child appears briefly on camera before disappearing in a flash. The child doesn't move, yet somehow disappears without moving an inch. But by far, the creepiest thing about this is the appearance of the child. Many have noted that they look extremely thin. Some have even gone as far as to say that it looks like a corpse. While this detail doesn't really help in figuring out who this was, it does make the figure creepier. Doubtless, Anisha believes that a child spirit was caught on camera, and like her son, she believes that they wanted to see the elf come alive. But just like the child, it doesn't move. To this day, this video continues to baffle Anisha. If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation, you can send them over to scaryvideos444@gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video.
Oh, goody.
It's late at night when a man named Taylor immediately takes out his phone to record something in his girlfriend's house. He's by himself, and for the first time, he's hearing what his girlfriend often hears at night, but never records on camera. At this moment, the sound of someone
And you
walking
just thought
back
she
and
was
forth
crazy.
is heard from upstairs. The thing is though, no one else is home except Taylor.
My front camera is smashed, but I'm here at my girlfriend's house by myself. She always says it's haunted because it sounds like somebody is walking around upstairs. I've never heard it until now. I always say that it's not haunted because the house is a little old,
Right. The house settling.
but
That's
it
quite
legit
common.
sounds like there's somebody upstairs.
Yeah. I lived in an old house, and it was made out of wood and metal, and the metal would sometimes warp with the heat. So whenever the building would heat up, it sounded like someone was kicking the side of the door. I've had that same place that I lived. Whenever anybody would shut the front door forcefully, my door would open because of just the way, and you know, it was very drafty, and it was because, you know, yet again we have background noise. There's some background noise that I can't help, and that's why I am able to, when the background noise is getting a little too loud, you know, I'm not alone, okay? I'm literally not alone, you know, so, there's other people here. So if you hear something and it's a voice, it's probably because I'm not alone. Even if I was, I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm never alone, okay? Never. Never. I don't think I don't think I've ever been truly alone. Like alone, like nobody's home, like home alone, you know? Where all the adults are gone, and maybe when I was a kid, I was like home, like I was alone somewhere at some point. But it's been a really long time since I've been alone, as in nobody else is in the house and I'm hearing things.
I will swing on a ghost, or if it's a person, I don't care.
I'm throwing punches. I don't care. I'm throwing punches in either way.
Who's up there?
Like they're gonna announce it.
Oh my god, they're like at the top of the stairs. Come down these stairs and I will swing on you, I promise.
Eerily, the sound of charging footsteps is heard descending the staircase and heading towards Taylor. And as promised, he delivers. He lunges at whatever it was that was heading towards him. Although losing his balance upon doing so, he continues to record on the off chance that something else happens. Unfortunately, nothing does, but at least the sounds from earlier have stopped. Now, while most people tend to run away from paranormal occurrences, it is refreshing to see someone do something different. But as some believe, it might be best if he didn't confront the ghost in this house. Regardless, ghost or not, it is nice to see a different kind of reaction.
A different kind of reaction that I'm just gonna punch a ghost. It's not.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you
Right.
enjoyed. Also, if you haven't already done so,
Yeah, subscribe, push the bell. I know. I've